Alright guys out there, y'all know who it is. This is Set, coming back once again. Got this 94th video up. I've been gone for a minute, I know. I'm like hiding out in a fucking closet or some shit. No, I'm just kidding, I'm not in a closet. I'm in a hallway chilling. But check this out, right? I know I've been gone for a while. There's a lot of stuff to get into, man. A lot of stuff to get into. So let's just jump right in, man. I'm gonna kick it off with this. Racism is a mental disorder. That's right, I said it. I don't know if I'm the first to say it, but I'm the first to say it right now in this video. Racism, excuse me guys, you know the camera might be jumping around a bit, but because I'm holding it. Racism is a mental disorder, man, for real. And the reason I say that is that you think of individuals, right? I mean, what is racism? I touched on this in the past in some other videos too. But it's like basically, if you got an individual that's a so-called racist, what does that mean? These people, they fail to accept other probabilities. And basically that's all racism is. And the individual has not come to terms with what they are, and they haven't accepted their place in the multi-dimensional order of things. So it's like, trying to maneuver this camera so I don't get that glare on my glasses. But you know, the individual has not learned to accept their own powers, and besides their own powers, the powers of other individuals out there that are just being themselves. I'm gonna give you guys a little way to deal with racism, right? Because it's like, I've touched on this before, and you have a lot of individuals out here that, you know, we have the Black Lives Matter movement, right? And I remember I saw another video on that, and somebody had a sign, it was like some white guy, and his sign was like, all lives matter. And I think some people like jumped him and beat the shit out of him, or they attacked him. And they were like, oh, what the hell you mean, man? Black lives, I mean, you know, all lives matter. And I think the sign spoke for itself. All lives matter. So it's like, I talked about limiting mentalities before in my other videos. And I know a lot of people may disagree, but I don't care, because this is just how it is and how I'm calling it. When I say we, I mean all of us. Well, not me, because I'm not a part of it, but if you're not a part of this, a lot of individuals need to come to terms with the larger spectrum of how things work out here, man. And I'm not just talking about physical either, I'm talking about when I say the larger spectrum of things, I'm talking about all realities, multi-dimensional thoughts, all of it. You know, when you focus on being just one thing, once again, I'm sorry, I gotta say it, you're being a human. And you know my videos, I went into my whole human thing. Now, don't misunderstand. When I say human, I'm not saying that there's anything, there's your creaturehood, and there's your so-called spiritual side, if you want to call it that, or the soul and all this. Your creaturehood is beautiful. We come here, we're born, we live, we have fun, we have sex, we die. Some of us come back to enjoy these things again. But what it really comes down to is that, I mean, I know you guys have heard this before, so I don't want to sound like I'm ripping on some ABC special shit, but it's like, you know, we're spiritual beings having a human experience. But I don't even want to use that word human. I say we're spiritual beings having a creaturehood experience. You know, we come here as physical creatures on the planet. You know, we're made up of things that consist of the planet, and then we return back to that source. The physical part does, and we go back to our source, where we come from. But the whole idea of human has taken on, like, there's a lot of limiting belief system connected with human. I said, I don't want to get into this, I talked about this in the past, but you guys already know how I feel about this, man. When you say, oh, well, you know, I'm only human, it's just an excuse to fuck up. Because you use that over and over again. Every time you want to, be lazy every time you want to slack off, every time you want to make up a cop-out, an excuse, say, well, I'm only human, and that's your excuse, your buyout to fuck up in life and to, just do dumb shit. But, if a lot of people, a lot of individuals took the time and said, you know what, I need to transcend this, whatever it is I'm in, I need to go beyond, I need to dig deep, I need to find out what's really going on, they'll learn that the whole human scheme is just that. It's a scheme, man. It's a scam. It's not even real. You've been told, a lot of you guys out there, man, most individuals anywhere, you are like some very powerful beings that are here. You bought into this whole human shit, and now you guys are just, you've bought it. You've been in the game so long, you can't see it any other way. So, you've allowed others to give you the means to cop out. Well, I'm only human, so that's why I did this, I did that. Y'all gotta go beyond that shit, man. But let me get back to the story. What was I talking about originally, man? See, I hadn't lost my train of thought, man. At one part of me, I'm happy to be here, so I'm like, my mind is racing and stuff. But yeah, man, racism, mental disease, man. Oh yeah, that's what I was talking about. So, how to deal with racist individuals, man. See, as long as you stay stuck in the race game, right, you're always gonna be battling. It never ends. It never ends. There's always gonna be white versus black, Asian versus, whoever, Chinese against the Koreans, Japanese against, Chinese and the Koreans, Mexicans against Dominicans against Puerto Rico. It never ends. So you have to decide, what do I want to do? Do you want to stay stuck in this cycle of bullshit? Or do you want to transcend it, man? See me? Look, I'm keeping it real. I know that in this reality, right, it's like you have to do what you have to do sometimes, right? So it's like, yeah, I'm half. In this reality, when I manifested here, I chose to be mixed, half black, half Puerto Rican, all right. But then it's like, how, if you want to leave it at that, it goes deeper. Yes, I know that on one side of the family, on the Puerto Rican side, you have Taino, and I have that Taino blood in me. And then, but I also have Navajo blood in me. So, you got your great ancestors, they were Navajo. Then you go to the other side, the black side, they go, oh, well, you got Cherokee in your blood. This great-grandfather, this grandfather was Cherokee, or your grandmother was Cherokee Indian. So, when you start breaking it down to that, it's like, well, who do I sign up with? It's like, if you play the race game, you gotta choose just one side and stick with it, man. It's like, if you go to prison, right? Like, I've never been to prison, but even I know this. It's like, if I went to jail and I was like in prison, even though I'm half black, half Puerto Rican, if I was locked up, I would have to go, the Spanish group. I couldn't team up with the so-called black people because, the Spanish group, once they hear that name, Toro, oh shit, Boricua, oh, he's with the black. I'm fucking shanked in the shower. Y'all know what I'm trying to get at though, man. You know what I'm saying? It's like, you gotta play the game, man, sometimes. You gotta play the game. But playing the game and getting caught up in the game is two different things, When they say play the game, that doesn't mean get pulled into the shit and now you taking it as if this is fact and this is how it is. Play the game just means that. You play the game. And whatever the situation calls for at the moment, that's what you are, that's what you do. And you use it, and then when it's over, you move on and you shapeshift or change it to something else, whatever you gotta do. But, it's all right. Enough of that. How to deal with racist individuals. Yeah, take yourself out of the equation. See, as long as you remain as a part of the equation, a part of the problem, you're not being part of the solution. So, you have to look at racist individuals as everything's like a program in life, right? It's all about realities and coding. Now, I'm not talking about digital, but I'm getting more into like the metaphysics of this, right? Reality is basically like Everything's code. And you have to hack, the coding, or some people want to call it the matrix or whatever, but it's like, you look at some jobs, like, oh, he's serious, he's a professional. Why? Oh, because he's wearing a tie and his shirt is tucked in. That's just a fucking piece of material around his neck, and he's got his shirt tucked in his pants. It doesn't make him any different from the guy standing next to him, but it's the codency. We have bought into that program of wearing a piece of material around your neck, wearing some nice shiny shoes. Oh, he's professional. Gotta pick this guy. So it's like people play the game. They go to work, they put on a tie, put on a shiny suit with shoulder pads or whatever, and that's what they are. Now they feel, yeah, I'm professional now. Look at me. You're still the same guy who wasn't wearing that shit 2 minutes ago. But it's the mindset. So what I do, this is how I deal with people, right, who are so-called racist. I just look at them, and I feel sorry for them, man, because it's like, when I encounter racism, it's like, I look at an individual as an outdated program, man. It's like, on one level I'm baffled, on another level I'm entertained, because it's like, wow, you are a rare sight to behold. Ignorance at its height. And it's like, God, that's just how you gotta look at them, man. They're outdated programs. They're still living on some old shit that those times are come and gone. And it's not even really about times, man. It's mostly, it really comes down to the individual is just non-developed. You see, when you start getting into all these things of yourself about, the nature of reality, multiple realities, alternate dimensions, the soul, there's no room for racism, because it's like, this is why, how I know, and how you can know too, when somebody is really meaning what they're saying, and if they're still crossed up and they still haven't worked themselves out yet. I see a lot of other people on the internet, right, so-called spiritualists, whatever you want to call them. They make their videos, and to each his own, that's cool, but you see them bad, and like on one level they'll say some really deep, profound, they'll give some deep and profound comments about things, and then they'll switch back into, well, I just want to make this comment now because, black people, blah, 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 white people like this. And it's like, well, wait a minute, you can't go back. You don't go back. If you've already surpassed that, you don't go back to talking about, well, how black people are, how white people are, how Asians are and all that. You don't go backwards, man. So it's like a lot of their teachings are, you could clearly see through it that on one level, they're coming into some deep knowledge, and it's true. They're touching on some very groundbreaking levels, but they're still holding on the other level, to the old belief systems. They're still holding on to the old packages of, whatever trauma they had with a specific group of people at some time in their life, or whatever their background is, and how hard it is for them either at the present moment point of reality or in another perceived one. And it's like, once you reached a certain level, you're not supposed to be dwelling on this old shit. You're supposed to be going forward. So it's like, oh man, this stuff is heavy, man. But at the same time, man, like I said, individuals like that, you really see. I'm so far removed from all of that. It's like, even when I touch on it, like in this video now where I'm touching on it, it's kind of like a big detour from my usual train of thought. Like I have to literally get into a frame in my mind to tap back into this shit, because like I'm so far away from the whole race game that it's like I have to sit down and meditate. It's like, all right, maybe I might talk about this today, so all right, yeah, I gotta go back into that race shit, but it doesn't matter to me, man. It just doesn't matter, because I'm so far beyond all that if I do meet individuals like that, it's kind of like looking at an old life, and it's like, oh yeah, I remember that. There used to be racism, man. Shit, forgot about that time this and that happened to me, or this girl said that to me. Because I don't give a shit no more, man, and you shouldn't give a shit either. It's like, fuck all this stuff, man. Now, I know I talked in the beginning of the video about Black Lives Matter. And now I'm not saying that is, the movement itself is bad or it's negative and there's no point to it. But at the end of the day, it does come down to all life matters. It doesn't matter if you're black, white, Indian, doesn't matter. Asian, whatever you are. Like I said this many times. We should be out in the streets protesting and shit. When anybody gets killed, when anybody gets done wrong, we should be out there protesting, man. Well, that's a whole other video. I got my thoughts on protesting and stuff. But the point I'm trying to make is that when anybody is done wrong, we should all be coming together to support each other as individuals, not just because specific members of any race have been done wrong. But, anyway, so, yeah, man, the programming. You guys gotta break the programming, man. It's all about the crossroads, man. I mean, I've been in some deep shit since I've been gone from these videos, man. I've been going deep, man. Just last night, check this out, right? Just last night, went to bed, and I was traveling, man. I mean, I was traveling. Sometimes, right, when you get to certain levels of your development, you're gonna travel so deep and have so many experiences within that, whatever that time frame back here in physical reality that you were sleeping in, that when you come back to your physical body and you open your eyes, it takes you like a little moment to readjust, because it's kind of like you've just been across the universe and back. You just experienced 100 lifetimes in the span of a few hours. And when you come back, it takes you that brief moment or a few minutes sometimes for some individuals to readjust and like, all right, where the fuck am I? That's right, Earth 301 or whatever you want to call it. You're back here. And for a lot of individuals, when you have these, look, man, I'm not the first to say this, but truth continues either way. The experiences that you have in the so-called dream state are not imaginary, and they don't represent chaos or these other things. They're all real. Everything's happening, man. It's like, this is what I've been trying to get you guys up on for the past, look at it, 93, we're on video 94 now, man. There's a lot of stuff that you need to be getting into, man. I mean, a lot that most of you are not even like touching on, man. I mean, the universe reality is so big, it's so vast. There's so many things going on. There's things that I can't even talk to you guys in these videos about, because on one level, you wouldn't even have the basic rudimentary understanding of what I'm talking about. On other levels, they can't be put into words. They go beyond perception, beyond language. But, and for a lot of you, you probably know where I'm going with this because you have these experiences yourselves, but there's so much. I'm amped up too. It's like I'm not trying to be a downer here, be all like, serious in a church and shit, but there's just so many things happening, around us here in physical reality, as well as non-physical, man. And I would, fuck it, I'm gonna say it, man. I'm gonna call it. I would say about 90% of the people on the planet, maybe even more, I'm trying to be nice, give that 10% a chance, they have no idea. They have no idea what's going on. They're stuck in, celebrity land, or the race game, or who's holding them back, or who's not giving them enough or whatever, or, what group is better than this group, and from there you break it down from categories all the way ranging from religion to science down to fucking music, and they just have no idea of, you ask a person, an individual, say, where did you go last night? So, no, I went to the store, and, I bought some milk, and then I got a DVD, and I got Netflix. I say, no. I said, where did you go last night? in your travels, in your mind, where did you go? And they go, well, I did have an interesting dream about, I can't remember. But it was something. I know it was something. And you ask them the next night, where did you go last night? And they'll go, oh, yeah, I don't remember. Something happened, but I went to bed and then I wake up. Most people phase out, man. You know, they close their eyes and they're so attached to this reality that they can't even accept what's going on in the reality. So, you know, parts of them, you call the conscious mind, and all these other words, fancy terms have been made up for the present, but portions of themselves block it all out because they've given no, importance to it. If you don't give any importance to any of this stuff I'm talking about, what's going on in your other travels, your mind shuts it out. It's like, well, if it ain't important enough for this individual to remember it or try to remember it, I guess it's just not important. It shuts it down, blocks it out. You don't remember nothing, man. But you know, you gotta start getting back in tune with your powers, man. All this race stuff, all this presidential stuff, all this who said what celebrity made a comment. Leave all that shit for the kids, man. Leave it for the individuals that want to play that game. Because in reality, right, there's always going to be different groups. On one level, you have individuals that maintain the status quo, that maintain the reality. These are the people that you call the so-called educators in reality. This is how things are. Or you have people that want to shut you down. They try to bash you if you try to be different. Or they say, oh, you can't do that because this is how it's always been. And they're doing their job. Their job is to maintain the status quo. That's their job. And you could preach all day. You could tell them, no, please listen to me. I read this book. Or this guy on the internet said this. Or, you know, I had this experience last night. Oh, it was just a dream. No, it wasn't a dream. It was real. Because you could say all that stuff. And it ain't going to change their mind because they are programmed for what they have programmed themselves to do. See, no one's forcing them to do this. That's the whole thing, too. It's like, it's not the archons, it's not the demons, it's none of that. People program themselves to deal with certain things. I know it sounds fucked up and sad, but it's true. People program themselves to deal with certain realities. So limiting realities and people trying to keep others back, that's what they've programmed themselves to deal with. Now for the rest of us, right, you have the very few percentage on the planet. And they're rare. We're rare. And I'm talking to individuals out there. You know who you are, and you feel it within yourself. There's a few of us that we have surpassed, if I may be so bold to say, we have basically surpassed so-called human, or the concept of being human. We've gone beyond that. We've gone into a whole other realm of being. We're not even on the same level. This is why a lot of people go, you know, become isolated and they start shutting people out. And it's more, a lot of times, not always, but a lot of times because the individual has gone so far beyond what so-called human means or nationality and beyond all these like limiting belief systems that they start to feel isolated because it's like, fuck, there's nobody else like me. Nobody sees the way I see. My message to you, individuals out there, this is what I have to say. Remember, you're not alone, man. You're not alone. All the experiences that you're having, they're all real. All the things that you're encountering in your mental state, they're all real. Now, if you're seeing demons and all this other kind of shit, yeah, it's real, but on a mental level. And that doesn't mean it's not real. If it's real enough to affect you and get you stressed out and get you paranoid, then it's still real. But you have the power to control all those things, man. You are one of the rare, the elite of the so-called spiritual game, if you want to call it that. But you know, a lot of us gone beyond all that stuff, man. See me? I just sit back and laugh, you know. Once again, yeah, the role of the trickster, you know. Sit back and laugh, man, because it's like, there's some days when I go out and wherever I'm at, it could be Starbucks or just sitting in the park, and I just sit back. I got a smile on my face, man. People are like, why you always laughing, man? You always got a smirk, like you know something that's going on. And because I do, I sit back and laugh, because it's like when I see people stressing out over things, it's like I know it doesn't have to be that way. It's like it just doesn't, man. And all they need is to sit down and to just listen. It's like you don't have to follow me. You don't have to do what I say. You don't have to follow certain techniques I put out. It's really all about you and the things that you learn on your own. But if you sit back and just listen to certain individuals, to what they're saying, listen to the message, it might trigger you. You might wake up. You might get it. But a lot of us already get it, man. So it's like once you get it, you don't go back to the old shit no more. You don't go back to race wars. You don't go back to, those kind of things, because you've already surpassed. Then comes the next step in your development. Do you want to keep all this to yourself and just focus on yourself? Do you want to help others? What these videos are that I've been putting out, for the past 4 years. We're on video. This is video 94 now, but it's like, this is my way of helping. Remember, we're all in training. This is part of my training. I have a lot of other shit going on in this reality and other realities as well. Parts of my being, parts of my soul, other parts contacting me, things that I'm dealing with. These videos are just a part of that. If individual watches one video, there's enough information to trigger an individual to wake up. And I think almost in any of my videos, there's a lot of things I talk about, and you only need one to get you triggered. And then the rest, if you watch, thank you, I appreciate it. You subscribe, keep following, make some comments in the comment section below. But for a lot of individuals, they only need one to get the juices flowing. And once they get triggered, then they turn it on. But it's like, yeah, man. There's just so many things to get into, man. And, see right there. Yeah, that's right. I got my Crossroads symbol up, man. Yeah, as a present from somebody, man. Your little Papa Legba right there. So, the Crossroads, right? This ring found its way to me through interesting series of events, and as a present someone gave to me. And we all have our own Papa Legba, we all have our own deity, and all these things are basically yourselves. The inner self is here. Whatever you believe, the inner self will give it to you. If you believe you need a Papa Legba, you need an angel, you need a demon, a god, it's still your inner self projecting these things to you in forms that will be the most impressive to you. But there's always something about the Crossroads that is very interesting to me. It's like, if you look at the ring right there, right, you see that? It's like you got the patterns, you got the crossroads. It's like, what is the crossroads? What did this? If all this shit is supposed to be fantasy and just myth and legends, then why does it keep coming back? Why is it still stuck here in physical reality? People are still talking about the crossroads. Well, let's break down the crossroads for you. The crossroads are basically yourself, man. It's like you don't need to go to the crossroads to meet a demon or to meet a Papa Legba and all these things. You are the crossroads. And I'm going to tie all this back into racism, right? I'm going to tie this all back in because I feel there's a connection. I got to go in a minute too. Teach class. But anyway, it's like, I like this ring because it represents a lot of things, right? And basically represents all of us, You don't need a crossroads demon to broker deals for you back and forth. You are yourself, the individual who's the gatekeeper of the crossroads, because you are the crossroads. Your present moment point represents the crossroads, and it manifests a state. All dimensions of reality cross through you, whether you're happy today or you're pissed off, whether you're a murderer today or you're a saint, whether you're a rapist tomorrow or you're feeding the homeless. all pathways intercept through you, and you make the decision on which way you want to go. You want to go left, you want to go right, you want to go up, you want to go down, or do you understand that there is no left, right, up or down? It's all just happening, and it's all based on what you want to do in the moment. You know, it's like, that's how simple it is, man. It's so simple that it seems difficult. And that's the interesting thing about so-called metaphysics or studies of the soul and all these things. It's all so simple, yet people make it difficult. You know, they think it's, you gotta go to Tibet, you gotta go into the mountains, you gotta meet the Dalai Lama, you gotta go into India, you gotta get a guru, you gotta do all these things. And it's like, people are traveling halfway across the world to look for answers that are within themselves. You don't need to travel anywhere. Now, you know, some information may contradict, because on one level, some may say, well, you don't need books, it's all within. And the others say, well, I have this book, I recommend it, right? It's like, on one level, books help, because at our present, you know, to say it's all within is true. That's a fact. It is all within. You don't need anything. But for a lot of us in so-called civilized world of, you know, how things are running now in cities, we have so much shit to work through. A lot of individuals, internet, racism, and all these things, that they don't have that time out that they need to get in touch with themselves. So the book serves as a, how do I say? The book serves as a gateway or a trigger point of information condensed to get you to recognize certain truths that are within yourself that you may not be able to get just trying to go at it yourself, because there's so many other things going on. How do I meditate? What's the proper way? What mantra should I be saying? Should I sit with my legs crossed, or should I lay down on the bed? You know, should I go to Tibet, or should I go to, you know, to India? There's all these things that the individual has to work through. So there's a lot of information out there. But, you know, books that I've recommended in the past, hey, read them or you don't read them. But